Welcome to your favorite TV program, CEOs Connect. So what is the motivation behind Westmore Global Resources?
You have in your hand. That's what you have in your hand. Okay.
Wow.
It will not stop us because our businesses will all.
Yeah, in all business, you need to start somewhere.
Not a success story.
Yeah.
Sometimes you fail, sometimes.
And I always tell my staff, we definitely reciprocate to their.
Welcome back to the program CEOs Connect. Welcome to another episode of CEOs Connect, the program that brings you CEOs all over the country, learn about them, and learn the secrets behind their success. I am Tunle Aladeshwi, your host. Advertising has been in existence for ages. However, the advent of technology has taken advertising to another level, in which it is now an indispensable factor in the success journey of any company or an entrepreneur. My guest in the studio today is a big fish in the advertising industry. He is the CEO of Rocktop Media, Mr. Tony Roland Aobade. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Great.
You look
great.
sharp.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, well, we're going on a short commercial break now. And when we come back, our guest in the studio will be shedding light on what advertising is about, the do's and the don'ts of the industry. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program CEOs Connect, and I have the CEO of Rocktop Media, Mr. Tony Roland Aobade. Now, let's start from the beginning, my guest, Mr. Tony.
All right.
Sir, can you give the viewers a brief introduction about yourself?
Okay, Tony Roland Aobade, but usually I'm referred to as Don T. Well, that's my radio name.
Okay.
While I spend a lot of time on radio. I was born in the north, precisely Zaria in Kaduna State. And I went to primary school and secondary school there. I went to Tebo School, Zaria, and I went to Army Command Secondary School, Zaria. I was supposed to go to the military school, NMS, but somehow.
Yeah.
My father used to live in the north, and my mother got transferred to Ibadan. So they sent me on a message to come to Ibadan.
And you fell in love?
I just fell in love, and I now did the entrance examination. Actually, I did it in the north just for the sake of it.
Okay.
So I was supposed to go to government college, but I met a few of my friends and they were already in Loyola College. So I found myself doing 6 years at Loyola College, Ibadan.
Okay.
Yes, I did the sciences. And eventually I tried to get into school like any young man. But the confusion was, should I do science? Should I do arts? I wanted to do civil engineering.
Oh.
And somehow, some way, I didn't get admission. I got admission in the ABU, but I had to leave. I came back to Ibadan. After 3 years after leaving school, I eventually go into UI to study geology.
Oh.
So, am I going to be a geologist? I guess destiny didn't have it. So, as a young man, also working at the time, I had to work for the federal government. I worked in the Nigerian Railway Corporation. And trying to find my feet as, a desperate young man then. And so I dropped out of school at my 300 level to travel abroad. Yeah. Why are you saying wow?
Wow.
That's a story. It's a story, but now it's a success story because at the time it was due to frustration. It was due to pressure of the society and things like that. So I came back into the country trying to find my feet, but it was a bit difficult. So I couldn't get back to school. And in that frustrating moment, I dabbled into the media. I visited a radio station, and they just kind of liked my voice. And that was
you have the radio voice.
Yes, and that was it. And that's how I started at Premier FM as a radio presenter, as a freelance DJ. And eventually, I got into the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, where I worked on television and radio. I was supposed to go to Lagos and work on AIT. Long story, but I didn't go. And when the first private radio station came into Ibadan, I became a pioneer presenter, and that's how my journey, started as a radio person, but I told myself, I said 10 years into the industry, into the radio broadcast industry, that I was going to go independent and do something else. So count forward 10 years, I'm already getting the fame. But I remember what I told myself, that after 10 years, I'll go independent and do something else. So I had to do it at the 11th year. Now, don't forget I dropped out of school.
Yeah, you're on the level.
So I now try to get back studies. I did professional courses in public relations. I also went to get a diploma from the Lee City University, Mass Communication and Media Technology. And I went back and I did a degree while I was still on radio. So I became... had a BSc in Mass Communication and Media Technology, including a diploma in printing and publishing. So that gave me the effrontery to try media, because I did it without effort. I was just having fun.
Yeah.
And while I had fun and I put a lot of effort and passion to my fun that I was having, I was seeing results. And people were telling me, hey, you have this result. So I put more effort into it. So basically, that's a journey and how I got into the media.
It is a very impressive.
Sounds interesting, right?
Yeah, interesting and impressive. Yeah. Okay. So, what motivated you basically to go into the media industry?
Okay, now, like I said, it's destiny. Okay. I don't know how a lot of people see what destiny is, but this is it. Like the pathway that I had for myself wasn't working right. And I found myself, like I said, yes, in the media industry, radio broadcast industry at first. So when I went back to school, I remember one of the courses in international advertising. I was really engrossed. And, on my own before, I used to write copies for companies that I didn't know. Wow. I can just sit down here and say, Thomasy, she's fine, she's beautiful. I used to do all these things.
This copywriting.
Yeah, growing up. So now this is a study, and you can make this a profession. What I used to do. I make money, what I used to play with. Okay, let me try it out. Okay. So that was what informed me into going into advertising. And don't forget, while I was on radio, I got to understand that we were only talking. Some people were making money out of what we did. So I looked at what was going on there. There were agencies. So I like to know about these agencies, that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's how I started. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I am particularly interested to know what rock tough means.
Okay, rock tough. Many years ago, while I was still working and schooling, I used to write a lot of stuff. I used to write a lot, ideas. So I said, I'm going to start a company. The company will have these, will have that, will have this media outfit, will have a studio. And I said, let me give it a name. So I looked and I said, okay, let me use my sister's name.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's an acronym for my family. Okay. Ronnie, R, Claire, my late sister, K, Kumbi. Then TOF, Tony, and Frida. So rock tough. And I thought, okay, rock, as solid as a rock. And I read geology. Yeah. So it's about rocks and formations. I thought, okay, rock.
Tough.
Okay, rock tough. Let's rock it now.
Yeah.
That's what informed me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we know, as you know, advertising the industry is very competitive.
Very.
And most people don't really recognize what advertising is all about sometimes.
You're making a big mistake. You better recognize.
Okay, yeah. At least that's for the viewers to know.
Yeah.
So in spite of all these challenges, how have you been able to stay afloat in the business?
Oh, you have to be consistent. It's not easy at all. No industry is easy. So advertising has its own peculiarities. It's like a close-knitted industry. I didn't know that before. So when I started to approach mentors, because this is very important, you must have mentors. There's no way. I've had a lot of people say they don't need mentors, they can do it on their own. No, you need mentors. So I approached a few mentors, and this particular mentor was as if she was discouraging me. Kilo fellow, she in advertising, stay in your broadcasting. I said, no.
I want to go.
I want to go into advertising. And she said, okay. And whenever she talks about the difficulty, she'll end up with one statement. You see, and there's money in advertising, money. Okay.
That's the key thing.
Yes. And since I went to, I had my BSc at Lee City University, they encouraged every graduate to be enterprising. So they say, congratulations, enterprising graduate. Means that you're supposed to be an entrepreneur. So I knew I've just beaten the entrepreneurship bug. So I have to be an entrepreneur. So I turned into a business. I said, okay, look, ma, I'm going to do it. She said, okay, well, go ahead. And I went ahead. I suffered small. But of course, with every business, you have challenges. Yeah. I learned a lot from the principles of business, from the principles even in advertising, because there are a lot of principles that you must follow. So I did a lot of that, and eventually, in a short time, there were results.
That's somewhere.